The dawn of 2025 has witnessed a significant recalibration in the strategic posture of the Philippines. This island nation, situated at a critical juncture in the Indo-Pacific, is undertaking a series of bold moves. These actions are designed to navigate an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. The Philippines is clearly signaling its intent to proactively shape its destiny. It seeks to secure its national interests amidst shifting global power dynamics. This involves a multifaceted approach to foreign policy and defense, moving beyond historical dependencies and forging a more independent path forward in its international relations. The Philippines finds itself contending with pressures that test its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Therefore, the government in Manila has recognized the imperative to bolster its defense capabilities. It is also expanding its network of international partners. Rather than relying on a singular security guarantor, Manila is actively cultivating a broader array of alliances and partnerships. This approach allows for greater flexibility and resilience in its foreign policy. The bold move, therefore, can be understood as the Philippines' assertive effort to deal with the prevailing geopolitical realities, particularly the challenges posed by its large neighbor, China. It is about building leverage and ensuring its voice is heard on the international stage. Key component of the Philippines' evolving defense strategy is the recent strengthening of ties with European and Pacific nations. In mid-May 2025, a significant defense cooperation agreement was signed with Germany. Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro and his German counterpart Boris Pistorius finalized this pact in Berlin. This agreement aims to substantially enhance defense relations between the two countries. It also seeks to boost the frequency and complexity of joint activities, fostering greater interoperability and shared learning between their respective armed forces. The Germany-Philippines agreement covers several critical areas of cooperation, including cybersecurity and defense armaments. Furthermore, the pact includes provisions for joint efforts in United Nations peacekeeping operations. Further diversifying its partnerships, the Philippines also solidified a defense arrangement with New Zealand in April 2025. This took the form of a Status of Visiting Forces Agreement, or SOVFA. The SOVFA with New Zealand aligns with Wellington's consistent support for international law, particularly the principles of freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea. This pact underscores a shared vision for a stable and rules-based regional order. The formalization of the SOVFA builds upon an existing foundation of security collaboration. The Philippines is strategically engaged in constructing an extensive network of defense partners. This deliberate policy extends well beyond its long-standing alliance with the United States. The primary impetus for this diversification is the persistent and escalating maritime threats, particularly those emanating from China's activities in the South China Sea. Manila recognizes that a broader coalition of supportive nations can provide enhanced security and diplomatic leverage. Several agreements underscore this outward-looking approach. A Reciprocal Access Agreement, or RAA, with Japan was ratified in December 2024, facilitating closer defense cooperation and joint exercises between the two maritime nations. With Australia, a Status of Visiting Forces Agreement has been operational since 2012, providing a mature framework for regular military interactions. The momentum for forging new defense links continues unabated. The Philippines is anticipated to sign a similar defense cooperation deal with Canada by mid-2025. This proactive cultivation of defense ties is a clear indication of the Philippines' resolve to bolster its national security independently and through collective engagement. The South China Sea remains a focal point of regional tension and a primary driver of the Philippines' strategic adjustments. Beijing asserts extensive claims over almost the entirety of this vital waterway, often represented by its controversial 9-dash line. These claims starkly overlap with the legitimate exclusive economic zones of several Southeast Asian nations, including Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. China's assertiveness in pressing its claims has manifested in various ways, causing significant concern among its neighbors. These actions range from the construction of artificial islands equipped with military installations to the regular deployment of Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels. The South China Sea is not merely a site of territorial contestation, it is a critical artery for global trade. A significant portion of international commerce, including vital energy supplies, transits through these waters annually. The freedom of navigation and overflight through the South China Sea is a principle of paramount importance to many nations globally. The weight of law, the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling. A pivotal moment in the South China Sea dispute occurred in July 2016. An arbitral tribunal, constituted under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, delivered a landmark ruling. This ruling was the culmination of a case brought forward by the Philippines against China's expansive maritime claims. The tribunal's decision was comprehensive and legally binding. It decisively invalidated Beijing's assertions of historic rights within the Nine-Dash Line, finding them to be inconsistent with international law and the provisions of UNCLOS. The tribunal clarified several key aspects of the dispute. It affirmed that certain maritime features claimed by China were, in fact, low-tide elevations, not entitled to territorial seas or exclusive economic zones. Furthermore, it found that China had violated the Philippines' sovereign rights within its own exclusive economic zone by interfering with fishing and petroleum exploration. Despite the clarity and legal force of the 2016 ruling, China has consistently refused to acknowledge or abide by it. This outright rejection of a binding international legal decision has created a significant challenge for the international rules-based order. ASEAN's role unity and its discontents. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, has historically played a central role in managing regional security issues. However, its response to the escalating tensions in the South China Sea has been a source of considerable frustration for the Philippines. ASEAN's consensus principle often leads to diluted statements and perceived inaction against China's assertiveness. The Philippines finds ASEAN's diplomatic support limited in challenging Beijing's maritime activities. Specific instances highlight these frustrations from Manila's perspective. The 2012 Scarborough Shoal standoff showed ASEAN's internal divisions, failing to produce a joint communique. Slow progress in a legally binding code of conduct in the South China Sea compounds these concerns. This has driven the Philippines to seek stronger security arrangements outside Southeast Asia. The enduring alliance, the U.S.-Philippines connection. The alliance between the United States and the Philippines has long been a cornerstone of Philippine defense policy. For decades, this partnership, formalized by the Mutual Defense Treaty of 1951, has provided a security umbrella and facilitated close military cooperation. The Visiting Forces Agreement, in place since 1999, enables joint training, exercises, and American troop presence, which has been vital for enhancing the capabilities of the armed forces of the Philippines. Despite these strong affirmations of commitment from Washington, Manila harbors certain underlying concerns and uncertainties regarding the steadfastness and future direction of the U.S. alliance. These anxieties are particularly pronounced given the dynamic nature of American politics and potential shifts in its foreign policy priorities. While the U.S. has expanded access to Philippine military bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, Manila seeks clarity and unwavering support without an over-reliance that could limit its strategic autonomy. By building a wider network of security partners, the Philippines aims to create a more resilient and multi-layered defense posture. Drivers of change motivations behind the Philippines strategy. The primary driver behind the Philippines' strategic shift and its energetic pursuit of diverse defense partnerships is the pressing need to counter China's growing maritime capabilities and its assertive actions in the South China Sea. The Philippine military, despite ongoing modernization efforts, cannot independently match the sheer scale and technological sophistication of China's naval and coast guard forces. This asymmetry necessitates a strategy of collective security, where alliances and partnerships help to level the playing field and enhance deterrent capabilities against potential aggression or coercion. Manila's approach is thus fundamentally defensive, aimed at safeguarding its sovereign rights and territorial integrity, as defined under international law. By collaborating with nations that share similar concerns about freedom of navigation and a rules-based international order, the Philippines seeks to build a common front. These partnerships are not intended to be provocative but rather to signal a firm resolve to uphold its entitlements. This multi-pronged approach aims to create a more resilient security architecture, less vulnerable to the policy fluctuations of any single partner. The path ahead. Future of Philippine defense and diplomacy. The Philippines is focusing on bilateral and minilateral defense cooperation, engaging with states for a free and open Indo-Pacific. Manila's proactive diplomacy and defense modernization are critical for national security. This strategy avoids direct confrontation while defending its interests. It represents a sophisticated effort to build a diverse network of partnerships. This is a placeholder script for Chapter 10, the content will be updated later. This is a placeholder script for Chapter 11, the content will be updated later. This is a placeholder script for Chapter 12, the content will be updated later. The recent strategic moves by the Philippines are not just about defense and diplomacy, but also have significant economic implications. By diversifying its alliances, the country is positioning itself as a key player in the regional economy. With new pacts with Germany and New Zealand, the Philippines is opening doors to new markets, technology transfers, and investment opportunities. Germany, known for its engineering and technological prowess, can offer the Philippines advancements in manufacturing, renewable energy, and infrastructure. On the other hand, New Zealand's expertise in agriculture and sustainable practices can revolutionize the Philippine farming sector, enhancing food security and export potential. These collaborations could lead to an inflow of foreign direct investment, boosting the country's GDP and creating jobs. Additionally, the strategic location of the Philippines makes it an ideal hub for trade routes, further integrating it into the global supply chain. As the country strengthens its economic ties with diverse partners, it can reduce its reliance on traditional allies and create a more resilient economy. Furthermore, these deals can foster innovation, enabling the Philippines to climb up the value chain in various industries. The economic benefits of these strategic alliances are manifold, promising a brighter future for the Filipino people. As the Philippines continues to navigate its path in the international arena, the economic implications of its strategic recalibrations will undoubtedly play a crucial role in shaping its destiny. As the Philippines forges new alliances and recalibrates its strategic position, the regional responses have been swift and varied. Neighboring countries and key global players are closely monitoring these developments. China, in particular, has expressed concerns over the Philippines' growing ties with Western powers, viewing it as a potential threat to its influence in the South China Sea. Beijing's state media has issued warnings, emphasizing the need for regional stability and cautioning against actions that could escalate tensions. Meanwhile, Japan and South Korea have welcomed the Philippines' strategic diversification, seeing it as a counterbalance to China's assertiveness. These nations are keen on strengthening their own ties with the Philippines, advocating for a united front in maintaining regional security and economic stability. The United States, a traditional ally, has shown strong support for the Philippines' new pacts, viewing them as a reinforcement of democratic values and mutual defense commitments in the Indo-Pacific region. American officials have lauded the Philippines for its proactive approach, pledging continued military and economic assistance. ASEAN member states are also reacting, with mixed responses. While some countries see the Philippines' moves as a positive step towards a more balanced power dynamic in the region, others are wary of potential provocations that could disrupt the delicate status quo. The international community is watching closely, understanding that the Philippines' strategic recalibration could signal a significant shift in regional geopolitics. As the nation navigates this complex landscape, its decisions will undoubtedly influence the future of Southeast Asia and beyond. As the Philippines stands at the crossroads of its strategic recalibration, the road ahead is both challenging and promising. The nation's efforts to diversify its alliances and strengthen its defense capabilities are steps towards ensuring its sovereignty and security in an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. The Philippines' new partnerships with Germany and New Zealand, coupled with its enduring ties with the United States and other regional players, reflect a multifaceted approach to diplomacy and defense. This strategy not only aims to counterbalance China's assertiveness in the South China Sea, but also to foster a more stable and secure Indo-Pacific region. The South China Sea dispute remains a critical issue, with the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling serving as a cornerstone for the Philippines' legal stance. While unity among ASEAN member states is crucial, the varied regional reactions highlight the complexities of navigating regional politics. Economically, these new alliances could open up opportunities for trade, investment, and technological collaboration, bolstering the Philippines' growth and development. However, the nation must tread carefully to avoid exacerbating regional tensions and to maintain a delicate balance in its foreign relations. The Philippines' strategic recalibration is not just about defense and diplomacy. It is about securing a future where the nation can thrive amidst global uncertainties. As it moves forward, the Philippines must remain vigilant, adaptable, and committed to upholding its national interests while contributing to regional peace and stability. The journey ahead is fraught with challenges. But with resilience and strategic foresight, the Philippines can navigate these turbulent waters and emerge stronger. The world is watching, and the Philippines' actions today will shape the Indo-Pacific landscape for generations to come.